Hello. Hi, guys. Hi, everyone. Can you see me? If you can see me, say hello to me. Hi, guys. Hi, people. How you guys doing tonight? Hello. I see that somebody is even asking for comments in there. Can you see me? If you can see me and you can hear me, let me know. Say hello. Yay. Hi, Damilola. Everybody say hello. I am here. How are you doing? Hello. Yay. We're here. uh-uh. I see you too. Hi, Udi. Hi, Jamnola. Hi, Gifty. Esther. Shasha Banks. This name is giving. Hi. Thank you, everyone. Can you tell I'm excited? I'm typically always excited when I have to speak to you guys. So, yes, I am thoroughly happy to be here tonight. Short notice, whatever it is, but yes, we are here. Hi, hi. Oh, thank you so much. Thank you, people. So, I don't play like that. I don't really play like that. So, I'm going to be going straight into it. Are you ready? Oops, I need to get this out of the way. Yeah, because we started. So, are you ready? Are you ready tonight? Are you ready? What are you looking forward to? I think that I think that it's very critical. Hey, hi people. I think that it's very critical to have this conversation. I know that I was talking to my team, a few months ago, and I said this is something that I feel like everyone, you know, at some point in our lives is something that we come face to face with, and we may not necessarily talk about it, but it's something that we do in our everyday lives. Like you're selling yourself, you are daily selling yourself. I think that we have become, deceived that we are selling an idea, that we're selling a product or a service, that we're selling anything else that is outside of us. But people do not necessarily do business with inanimate things. They do not necessarily commit. So they can do like one offs, but it is the experience, the spirit behind the thing, the energy that they feel, the aura, what they go away with, what we call emotional engagement, that sort of like translates somebody or a client from somebody in your head to somebody in your heart, where they're like, you know what, I'd rather just buy in this place, or that I'd rather just do this. It's the same thing when, like, maybe you are on a career path, you are in a role. It's just the experience of you, not just only the work that you do. There's some people that, okay, it's just work that we do, and some people can say to me, oh, well, why maybe I don't have to tell myself, let me just do the job and go, right? That's great. But a part of you is in that job. So it is that we must come to the consciousness of how powerful we are and why it is important to show up so that all of the opportunities of our lives, we just don't keep missing them. Sometimes you wonder, how is it that this person is just always getting things done? How are they just always getting ahead? Or they're getting things done, yeah, but how do they have so much clout or so much influence? Okay, apart from influence, someone can say, okay, well, I have all the influence, so I don't need to sell myself anymore. How do they stay relevant? How do you evolve over the years? How are you this person that was relevant in 1922 and maybe you are in your whatever 80s and whatever, and today you can still relate? It is that you are able to have a story, that you stick to your story in your season, that there are seasons that you are in and that you begin to recognize those seasons, but also who you need to be in them. So really, that is a nutshell, and I've sort of like put things together. I'm going to be teaching tonight, so I have some points, and we are also going to be participating. Ground rules before we go. Ground rules. Participating. Are you participating? Yes or no? Let me see yes or no, so I even know whether I should just continue or I should just first of all change direction. Are we participating? Yes. I want to see your yeses in the chat. Yes or yes. If I don't see any yes, I'm not moving. That's not enough. Yes. Are we participating? Yes. I want to see your yeses because I'm going to be asking you to do certain things. This is going to be like a practical type class. It's the weirdest thing, but yeah, let's go. Yay. I'm happy to see your yeses. So I'm going to be teaching you through very simple, should I say, breakdown, simple points. I think I have 4 or 5 points. I don't even know again, but simple points. And that these simple points, I'm going to be giving you different examples that will help you to. So you're supposed to have your paper and your pen. If you don't have it, please grab it because I'm going to be asking you to write some things, and you're probably saying some things to yourself in here. Okay. So the first thing is that let's establish. Let me find my notes and be sure that I don't miss anything. Let's establish one thing, and the first thing I wanted you to know is that in this world that you are not really here to convince anybody of your worth. By the time you start convincing, it means that they can't see it. I will explain. You're not really here. I'll tell you what you're here to do. You're not really here. You're not really in this space, wherever it is that you are. Look at yourself today and say, okay, this is me. This is why maybe I am an identity coach. I am a marketing comms expert. I am whatever it is that I am, or that the roles that I am playing in my skills, in my abilities, in my giftings. My duty is not really to convince anyone of my worth. My duty is to embody my worth so much, so fully, that the right opportunities, the people, the success that I need is drawn to me naturally. So that's why I do not teach. I teach that you be. And the concept of being is the concept that all that you have in your hands, all that you are able to communicate it clearly in a way that you don't have to start convincing, you don't have to start hustling, you don't have to start saying, but I can, but please, you don't have to start begging, you don't have to start pleading, you don't know. It is that your duty is not to convince anybody of your worth, but your duty is to embody your worth. So it is to show up in your value. When I say show up in your value, that's what I mean. Um, so a few things can make you or help you to step into your power. And I think that the very first thing, and so in this place today, I'm going to ask that as I'm speaking, if you have any questions, please drop your questions. I may not do question and answer after. I have something to share with you at the end of this. So that's very critical. But if you have any questions as I'm speaking, please type them in there. I'm going to be trying to look through the chat box and put up the comments and answer them as we go. So it's richer. And I feel like it's just us here. So it's just you and I. And so we can make this as useful as you want it to be for yourself. So there are no right or no wrong questions, but I'll be taking the questions that I feel like would benefit most people. So I may overlook a question. It doesn't mean that it's not a good enough question, but of course we are on a live, and I'd like it to be useful to everyone that is here. So what will make you step into your power? I think that the very first thing is that I always ask a question, and I'd like you to answer it. What is unique about being you? So I look at it and say, what is unique about being me? That may be a tough question, to be honest. What is unique about being you? And it means that, anybody can be anything. That's why I always say that you cannot operate in a role. You have to operate in your value, in a strength, in an ability, in a skill, in a talent, and not a role. What do I mean? Anyone can be a father, anyone can be a friend, anyone can be a colleague, anyone can be an engineer, anyone can be a lawyer, anyone can be the chairman of a board, anyone can be you can be anything. However, what is unique about being you is what is your abilities, your skills, your talents, your strengths. What are those things? And if you're struggling with, yeah, I'm looking in the chat box as well, so I don't miss your comments. If you're struggling with identifying what your unique strengths or what is unique about being you is, I think that something that we overlook the most is feedback. That we listen out for feedback in our lives and that we don't argue or contend with what the feedback is. What do I mean? In fact, I want to start telling stories. Can I go? Can I just start telling stories immediately? So it is that you know how sometimes I mean, you are great at something or you do something so much, and people compliment you for that and they talk about it, but you feel like that's not what you want to concentrate on. Like, yeah, I know I'm great at this thing, but that's not what I want to do. I want to be. So people say, for instance, oh, yeah, I really love your donuts. Your donuts are so great. And you're like, you know what? You've not eaten my cakes. My cakes are good. But you don't really hear all of those compliments with your cakes. But you decide, you know what, is cakes I want to do. And so you're doing cakes. You're missing the point. You're missing the point. What is unique about being you is what is already given to you, already um, appreciated about you. And so we tend to, with those sort of things, we tend to underestimate, we tend to overlook, we tend to, um, despise sometimes those things because we're thinking that, oh, it's not enough, it's not plenty, it's not big, it's not huge. I want it to be something. I mean, so let me give you an example. I was working with some lady recently and she said, oh, you know what, I want to be teaching stay-at-home moms how to thrive, because I've been a stay-at-home mom for so long, but I've now started businesses and all of that. But I want to teach them how to thrive, in their businesses and this and this and that. And I kept looking at her and I said, okay, so what is unique about being you? And she struggled with it. So I said, okay, when people compliment you, when they ask you to do things for them, when they ask you questions, what are those questions around? And she said the funniest thing. She said, it's about maybe marriage and the way that I just organize my home. I said, okay, you don't think that's good enough? Isn't that something that is unique about you? She said, hey, but it's just this. And I'm like, exactly. So you say you want to teach this, you want to show that, but they are not interested in that from you because that's not what they see as being unique about you. What they see as being unique about you is what is for them. And so it takes me to this point that I want to say. And remember, we're talking about how to sell yourself. It takes me to the point that stop seeing yourself in your own incompetencies or in your own greatness. There's one, should I say, proverb that I came across years ago, that the giant cannot see himself. What does it mean? You don't want to see yourself. Like, as a giant, if you see that you're a giant, it will be too much for you. Like, I'm a giant. Wow, you cannot see yourself. You're too big. You can't see yourself. But the people that see you will be telling you, a giant. Oh, yeah, and you're saying, I'm not really a giant. It is that you are struggling with what the world or your world wants to receive from you. You want to give them something else, but that's not your place. It's not in your place. When you were given to the earth, you did not say, I want to naturally know how to talk to me. I just want to. You didn't get to choose what your strengths or your unique abilities, your skills, your talents are. You didn't get to choose them. And that means that that's what was given to you as a seed in this world. So when I say what is in your hands, it is what has already been given to you. Somebody says, I'm going to put this up and just leave it there. And I'm going to keep talking and then I'll answer this question as I go along. So it is that you have to remove yourself from how you sell yourself. You have to remove it because you are inside yourself. You're inside the frame. You can't see yourself. So you want to sell the things that you want to sell, but listen out for feedback. Is feedback that would almost like show you what is needed from you and what you already have. So your responsibility is to upskill, to grow, to expand in those things such that they're seeing it already in its minutest form. But it begins to go beyond you because it's given to you naturally, but you have upskilled, you are upscaled, you have invested in, you have expanded on. It begins to draw people to you naturally. It's not a function of you shouting, hey, come and see me here, come on. It is that when you upskill and you show up any given time, when you are in spaces, when you are called upon, you just show up. It becomes bigger than you. And so that's the first thing that let's first of all even establish what is unique about being you. When I've said that, and I've said that, what do people compliment about you? I think I wrote a few questions down. What do people compliment about you? What problems do other people come to you to solve? And what do you do effortlessly? What are those things? And that you look at those things as what is unique about being you. Let's put that in a pocket, right? So I'm going to ask you to do something, right? Somebody asked, so let me answer this question. What people see about you might be limited by where or how you have put yourself out there. And exactly what I'm saying is that what they see about you, at least listen to that feedback first. It is that there are days of small beginnings. Focus on what is seen about you first. And stop saying, it's because of the way I put myself out. So that's what you are seeing. Okay. What you are seeing, how can I upskill? How can I grow? How can it expand? Because it's baby steps. So let me give you an example. It's just like maybe like a 10-year-old child, and you see that that child likes to read, right? And when the mom, for instance, maybe is talking about her in amongst her friends, or just like, my daughter really likes to read, oh. So people will be buying her books, and she'll be saying, it's not just reading I like, oh. I like to read, but I can do much more. Collect the books. Then what do you do with the books? And maybe when you start reading the books, you start saying, I can actually draw this. And then from there, you start to draw. So the point is that whatever you are given, that is your responsibility to grow it. But you cannot remain inside of yourself and think that what I see is what I see, because all of your gifts are not for you, they're for other people. Everything that you have, I mean, selling yourself, this entire thing that we're doing, everything that we have has been given to us, but it's not for us. You cannot consume your own seed. You must plant it. You must seed it out. You must give it out. And it's in your giving it out that it expands. Whatever it is that you have been given, no matter how great, mighty, that great, whatever it is, if it doesn't leave your hands, it dies. Yeah, you cannot keep it with you. It's going to die. So that's the point. The point is not in that, it's because they are seeing this because, okay, have they seen anything else? If they're not seeing anything else, then start from where you are, right? That's the first thing. So the question I was going to ask you is that, can you write down, and I'd like for people to share, and then I'll use it to teach into the next few things I'm going to say. Can you write up to three, it doesn't have to be three, but up to three things that you think, you know what, these are the things that are unique about being me, or these are my traits, these are my skills, these are my strengths. Write three things about yourself in a piece of paper or whatever. Write it, your skills, your traits. What are three things that I'm proud of? I know that come rain, come shine, these three things. I hope that you have up to three. And if you do not have up to three, I mean, that's a different kettle of fish entirely. You know that you have to start growing that. But if you look at those things, is anybody willing to share? This is the point where I expect that you type in the chat box. Type it. You're welcome, John. So type in the chat box, even if it's not up to three. I want to work you through something. What are the three things that you are proud of about yourself, whether they are skills or they are traits or they are strengths, things that you believe that, you know what, yeah, I got this. Up to three. Nobody's typing anything. Are you guys typing? Are you here? Can you hear me? Okay, I can see something. I need to be sure you can hear me. Somebody says, I care about people a lot. Keep typing. Three things that you're proud of, of yourself. And if you cannot see up to three things, guys, then you know that you have work to do. If you are not able to even see yourself and say, these are the things that are unique about me. These are my natural traits. These are my abilities, your organizational skills. Somebody says your voice, your smile, your ability to connect with people, you are reliable. Keep going, keep talking. We're talking about how to sell yourself and the power of you. Like, you are your greatest asset. What do you know about yourself? What skills, what unique abilities, what are the things that you're proud of? Up to 3 things. Keep writing. You realize that anytime you teach anything, people come back for more. I really like that. Somebody says, I teach effortlessly. Yes, somebody says teaching, enterprising, leadership skills, design, you're relatable. You love to dig deep. Yeah, look at that. Ability to run with a raw idea, execute it into something worthwhile. Can you see yourself? So that you see yourself, in your giftings, in your natural abilities, in your traits and what is unique about being you, and that they are enough. That they are enough. That they are seeds. That you begin to look at these things as seeds that you can multiply, things that you can grow. And I'm going to show you a few things in a bit. Things that you can grow, things that you can expand on, things that you can gift in your world. And your world is not just a relationship like, okay, with my friends, with my family, is with people that you don't know, is in a career, is on a job, is in the world, in anywhere. Maybe something happens and you're able to just share, you're just able to give. Is that every time you have an opportunity, that you are able to just share, upskill, grow. I'm showing you all of these things so that you can see that we are gifted differently. So that's something else. Can you see? Somebody's talking about fulfilling, training other teachers how to use technology to teach. It is that we are gifted differently. So many of us, we have so many gifts, we have so many abilities, and we always just keep looking at the other person and wondering, why don't I have that one? I want this one. I just envy the people that are able to fill a room. They just sell out on Instagram, on Facebook. Meanwhile, you are gifted to teach a certain type of people in a certain type of place, maybe in local communities. They may not be on Instagram. They may be, we are gifted differently. Maybe you are not a mass type person, like why maybe I'm not mass. I'm very niche. Maybe you are a bespoke type, but maybe there's a type of person. But it's first off that you know what it is that you have been given, and that you take it in its very raw state and you keep growing it, you keep upskilling it, you keep giving it, you keep serving it. We're talking about the very first thing. And so my very first thing is that identifying your strengths. And the next thing will be growing in confidence. So that's, I've sort of like, I'm reading all your comments, and you are such beautiful people. It's amazing. Yeah. So as you are writing, and as you are, thinking about yourself and all of the beautiful things that you are, this is your essence. So when you're introducing yourself, you're not going to introduce yourself as, I'm the MD of MC and BC company. That's great. But selling yourself is selling your strengths, what is unique about being you, what makes you memorable, what makes you different from the next person. Because it is your gifting that makes that room, that wants people to say, you know what, can you help me with this? Can I talk to you about this? Can it's those things are rooted in your uniqueness, right? And so it's very important that you grow in that and that you expand on that. The next thing will be growing in confidence. So a lot of times, and this question, well, sort of like question, we say to ourselves like, will they buy it? Will they pick me? Will I be chosen? Hey, if I go for this thing, will I win? If I ask, will he say yes? It's the fear of rejection. That's the next thing, the fear of rejection. And that you grow in confidence. So when I teach confidence and I teach self-esteem, there's self-worth, self-esteem. There are two different things, and I teach them in different ways. But I'm not focusing on that tonight. And I'm saying that We can be confident in our external abilities. Like you can be confident in, like, oh, I know how to do this job. Okay, if they give me, like why we be now, if you tell me to come and speak on identity or speak on, I will sleep there. You know, things that you are naturally gifted in, you are confident in that. But in yourself and expressing yourself and showing up and having conversations and answering questions that tug at you, you're like this. You know why? Because you have not grown in confidence. You're not, your self-esteem is somewhere. It's in one place. Somebody's asking a question. It says, what if you are overly confident about yourself and always believe in yourself, but then make mistakes? How do you deal with that? So those are two different kettles of fish. We all make mistakes. There's confidence in yourself and there's think too highly of yourself. There's a thin line between self-confidence and arrogance, and there's incompetence in these things. There's so many ways to be unconsciously or even consciously incompetent. So you think that you are all that, but you are not. And the only thing that can help you with that is graciousness. But that's a different kettle of fish. I can't go into that right now. But I hope that this, so it is that you are gracious and you know that, see, you are not above mistakes. You cannot think that, I'm overly confident, I got this. It is that you recognize the humanity. And when that will also help you to own up to your mistakes. And mistakes, honestly, are supposed to teach us the way, are supposed to show us what next, where we should pay attention to. Mistakes help us to grow. But if you are too, should I say, arrogant, you think too highly of yourself, you think that, me, how can I do this? How can this happen to me? And you die or you bury yourself under a mistake. Like there, there's so many explanations to that, but I hope that that's sort of like gave you perspective. Um, and what was I saying? I was talking about growing in confidence, and you know, let me now say there's something that I've noticed that a lot of people are talking about, and I've noticed it in interactions, is that a lot of people say I'm shy, or they say I'm such an introvert. I don't even know what to say the first time. I don't know how to introduce myself, or I'm really great at what I do, but I don't know how to sell myself. When it comes to say, I can sell other people, but when it comes to selling me, and let me say here that this thing is rooted in social awkwardness. That, we have anxieties and hesitations, and we're socially awkward. And those things are, they're from upbringing, they're from the way that we were raised, the way that we grew, the way that we perceived things, the way that we made decisions. But when you start noticing these things, and when these things are standing in your way, you need to take particular attention by yourself. You need to pay particular attention, and you need to take the stand to shift yourself out of it. You know why? Because it's always going to be standing in your way. It will stand in your way of opportunities. It will stand in your way of meaningful connections. It will stand in your way of expansion. It will stand in your way of success. Like, whoa, how can this one thing be so powerful? How can this one thing be so powerful? So let me quickly explain the difference between introversion and extroversion. And to let you know that this is not, because you're introverted doesn't mean that you're shy. Or you can't say it's because I'm an introvert, that's why I don't talk. So introversion and extroversion is about energy more than anything. It is where you get your energy from. So as introverts, we get, you say I said we, you people, let me not even tell you, but let's be going. As introverts, that means that you get your energy from within. Like when you want to refuel, when you've had a most exhausting time, when you want to, come back, like gain, you want to get your energy back, you want to refresh, you want to renew. It is in your inner world. It's your inner world of me. So where you want to reflect, you want to spend time by yourself, doing whatever it is that you love. You want to curl up in your bed. You don't want to talk to anybody. You don't want to take phone calls because, you feel drained. You feel like you have given too much. That is what introversion means. Introversion means that you get your energy from within. You prefer. So again, it is not that. So there's extroversion and there's introversion. It is a spectrum, meaning that you are on that, except you are completely on the left or completely this left. You're completely on the left or you're completely on the right. And nobody is completely. If you are completely, there's a problem. There's actually a problem. It means that you can balance your life. So you see all this, I'm an introvert, I don't know how to go out. I'm an introvert, I don't know how to talk. I said to someone, and this is what I always say to people when I teach or when I work with them one-on-one or in groups or whatever. I said the only question you need to ask yourself in certain situations when you say, I really want to do this, but I'm an introvert. I want to do it, but I'm an extrovert. What is at stake? That's the question. So write it down in your book or wherever. What is at stake? If you are able to qualify and quantify what is at stake, you will know whether you are still an introvert or you are an extrovert in that moment. Let me explain. So let me explain. If, for instance, you were like you're a boss, right? And there is this particular event, is an evening event, right? And you had to, at that meeting, you had some investors that you have been trying to speak to them. And somebody gave you, a hint that, they're going to be at this event tonight. And this is such an intimate event. You'll be able to talk to them one-on-one. And these are people that, you have been trying to reach out to for months. But guess what? You're not in the mood. I'm like, I'm such an introvert. I don't like parties. They said if that party is jumping, in fact, Sonny is playing there, but that on that table, there's a private table that you can stay, that you'll be able to meet them one-on-one. Please, I need your answer. Will you still be an introvert that day? Question. It's just a question. Would you still say, I'm such an introvert? Oh, I can't go. I'm shy. Um, I want to put it to you that the question really is what is at stake. If you are, and when I teach what is at stake, and today I'm going to say it in a different way. When I typically teach it, I teach it broad line, broad spectrum. I say, what is at stake? And I leave it like that. But I can say to you that you also have to be able to, show yourself what is at stake for you. A lot of times we say, another opportunity will come. Well, I missed it, but I was supposed to do this thing tomorrow, but I will do it in 3 days' time. So it is because you have not, somebody said introverts, okay? So it's because you have not determined to yourself that what is really at stake here. Sometimes some things are at stake and we don't know. We can't see it until we've lost it. So it is that you begin to tell yourself the truth. Where am I right now compared to my potential or what I've been given? If I think about all of the things that I've been given, and when I say given, is that the things that you have been given in your life. So whether you have gone through experiences, when you come out on the other side, you have lessons and there are gems in your hands you were given, right? That's what I mean by you were given. When you know that, okay, on my life's journey, I have gone to this school, I have gone to that, I've learned this, I know about this, I know you were given. So in comparison is the success in your life, what you term as success, is it matching? So it will also show you the things that you leave on the table. The things that you leave in the sense of, so when you look at the question, what is at stake, you also have to look at it, what is at stake for you in your life, on your own journey. So sometimes you're like, I said I would do this thing, and then you don't do it. But you realize that if you don't do it, it takes you back 2 steps, 3 steps. Then you begin to tell yourself the truth and say, I have to do this. And then if you are not able to do it, that's where you have, accountability. And then you say, who can help me? I always say, set yourself up to succeed. It's not enough to say, I'm going to write this book in December. And from now, since January, I've done nothing about it. If you really want to, You know that you won't answer. So maybe you tell somebody that you know that if I tell this person will keep me accountable. Or you get somebody to help you out with this. Or you start talking to, you've got to make the move to succeed. Success doesn't jump on us. It is that we set ourselves up to succeed. And the first point I gave, I said, identify your strengths. The next thing I said is grow in confidence. The way to grow in confidence again is to sit with yourself and be truthful to yourself and say what is at stake. And when you ask yourself, when you say those things to yourself that, will they this, will they that, will I this, will I that, give yourself the what if they do. I'm sure you have seen that before. If I apply for this thing, what if I don't get it? How about what if I get it? And then how to answer that question, what if I get it? Then imagine what will happen if you get it. Like, okay, I really want to speak to this person. I really like this person. I really, really like this person. I think that we'll be great friends and our lives, but I'm a bit. So when you look at the what is at stake question and you say to yourself, what if the person doesn't talk to me? Then you say, what if she talks to me? Or what if he talks to me? And then you are able to imagine, put in perspective that if the person talks to me, this will happen. It will ginger you. So it's not just that you wallow in hesitation and anxiety, but that you set yourself up to succeed with the questions that you ask yourself and with the actions that follow. With the intention of your heart, like the intent of your heart and the steps that you are willing to take, right? So somebody said this, that sometimes I plan and I don't carry on. That's for my personal plans. But work, I don't, which makes me feel sad because I want that for yourself. So again, what is at stake? It is that you look at those things, and the way to set yourself up is to look at it and to look at the end. Like, if I'm able to do this, where would I be? That you actually set yourself up to succeed. There's so many things in our lives that we miss, and we blame it on economy. You say it's tipping. Tipping has its own, but you blame it on this, on that. You blame it on because I wasn't able to do this, because of this person, or this and that. But when in those moments when those things drop, those ideas, those plans, those things, when they drop, you get it. The first thing is that you get excited. You know why? You were just given. It was a gift. And so you're excited about it. The only thing that can help you is to activate it immediately, to set it in motion. You know why? Because as human beings, the worries of the world, the cares of the world, you go out, there is traffic, you go this, there's no lights, you do that, so, and especially in our environment, like we're in the third world, anything can happen. Today they said this, tomorrow the policy can change. So you have to action those things to keep the energy going. So to action it, you have to set yourself up to succeed. I hope you understand what I'm saying, right? I hope you understand what I'm saying. So the first thing is what? Please write the first thing that I said, the first point. The second point, I think I've sort of like dealt with, social awkwardness. And then the third thing I'll talk about is master communication. So the third thing, when I say, should I say that next? Yeah, let me say that. So mastering communication is first off, again, is knowing yourself. What do you struggle with? So I think that is very key that we identify what our struggles are and we don't generalize it. What do you struggle with? What is causing you to hesitate? So is it knowledge? Is it that you feel like you don't know enough? If you feel like you don't know enough, then upskill. Learn, read, ask questions, all of that. Seek wisdom. You have to first of all identify what the problem is. What is making you hesitate? Is it that you feel that, I don't speak properly? Then what do you need to do to speak properly? I want to speak like this. Again, I remember when I was teaching about, I can't remember what year that was, and I was teaching about, again, this is mastering communication. I said the most important thing with communication is that the person actually understands what you're saying. So communication is not just that I'm speaking English, or that, I am just all of that. Just talking plenty things. People that just use big things or big words, or people that just are ambiguous, like you are just saying many things, but you're not really saying anything. So it is that mastering communication is that you learn how to go straight to the point. So again, straight to the point. What do you really want to say? And this also is in relationships. This cuts across all of our lives. What do you really want to say? Okay, this person hurt you. And what you're trying to say is that, I'd rather you apologize so that we can move on from here. But no, no, sir. That's not what you will say first. You will just start with insult. You will start with curses or comparison. The other day, when you did, what do you really want to say? And it's hard, to be honest. It's actually hard to rein yourself in and focus on what it is that you want to say. So if you think about communication as being understood, then I think it changes the direction. So it is not that you're trying to speak in a tongue that is not yours. It is not that. That's why. Let me not even go there. So, so it's very important that you first of all decide, what do I want to say? Then you have to also look at what is the goal, what is the objective. Again, what is at stake? What's the point here? Am I trying to show that I'm intelligent? Am I trying to get this job? Am I trying to get this person on my side? Do I want to scatter this entire thing? Like, let's just scatter it. Let's just fight. And that's a goal too, I promise. I promise. Like, there are people that, you want to break up with somebody, so you just start misbehaving. That's so. But the point is that mastering communication is to actually say what it is that you want to say. Now, the other part of communication is that, and I'm sure that you've heard this so many times, but I'm going to show you a different dimension, is listening. So when I teach listening, I always teach listening from listen from what is not being said. So a lot of us listen just for what is being said. Like, this person is saying this. Can you imagine what he said to me? Can you imagine what he said? Can you imagine? Can you imagine this and this and this? Don't talk to me like that. Don't da 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 da. Sometimes, if you are able to pause, and this takes a lot of practice, it takes a lot of work. But, these are principles that people don't necessarily talk about. We don't necessarily see on the streets. They're not things that you may even read about. It's things that you almost learn on your journey, right? You learn them after you have been shown Pepe once or twice. You know that, next time I will withhold this type of information. So, like, it is that when you are in conversation, it depends on what it is again that you want, that you want to communicate. But also watch the other person and look at them and hear what they are saying. Sometimes people are telling you some terrible thing that, they're speaking to you harshly and whatever. And then you realize, if you look at it, you realize that this person feels like I'm disrespectful. This person thinks that the way that I said that thing is disrespectful. So you go to the root of that matter and you answer it. You just say, oh, I'm sorry that I came across as, this, but that wasn't my intention. I apologize for that. It's going to be like cold water like in the afternoon. I promise you. But again, it is that, is this important to you? So the level of importance also helps you or guides you on how to manage the conversations or the communication. So if you know that there's some people that all they want to hear is themselves, they are just talking and talking, and they cannot even hear the other person. And the other person has said a few things, but they can only hear what the other person is saying. And what they are not saying, they cannot hear. Meanwhile, what they are not saying is actually the most important thing. So you will listen for what they are saying. But in what they are saying, you're going to have to follow it and see, what is this person really saying? And dependent on what the person means to you or how important that relationship is to you, then you know how to navigate. So it is that you pause in moments of communication and know that, what, this is not just about me. that you extend yourself graciously to other people, especially when they are important to you. Mastering communication um, is about building connections. So let me give you an example. And this is something that I used to teach when I started off years ago in marketing communications. I worked for about 8 years in the marketing communication space before I transited to image consulting. I set up a firm in 2010. And those years I was teaching and training on executive presence, frontline management, effective communication, and all of those things, body language, dress, grooming, all of that stuff. And I remember that there was something that when we trained in those days, well, look at me saying in those days, but it's those days to me because I'm looking at 2010 and now I'm like, Anyways, so when we trained on communication, they taught us about tonality and pitch. And I'm sure that you have heard about tonality and pitch, and I'm going to practice something quick today. I have a question. A sentence. Yeah, I wrote it down. So I'm going to write it here for us. I didn't even think of writing it, but I'm going to write it. And this is the sentence. I'm going to type it. She's going to say she's the one. I'm going to type it and show you now. So look at this. This is a simple sentence, right? I never said she stole my money. I'm sure you have seen this or you've heard this before, but I'm going to show you real time. I'm going to ask that you practice it yourself as well. Honestly, I wish I could hear your voices and I could put you up, to talk about these things, but I will show you something. So I never said she stole my money. Listen for what I'm saying now. I never said she stole my money. Doesn't mean the same thing. If I'm saying I never said she stole my money, and I say I never said she stole my money, doesn't mean the same thing. Guess what? If I say I never said she stole my money, do you know it means something different? So if I say I never said she stole my money, I'm saying that I didn't say it too. I didn't say that. I never said she stole my money means that I have never said that sort of thing. Like, wow, how can I say that? Right? Then look, I never said she stole my money. I may have implied it, but that's not what I said. It means a different thing. I never said she stole my money. It means a different thing. So wait, I never said she stole my money. I never said she. It's not how it may be somebody. I never said she stole my money. It means something else. I never said she stole my money. She may have taken it. She may have abducted it. She may have thrown it away, eaten it. I never said she stole my money. I never said she stole my money. It's not my money, it's somebody else's money. I never said she stole my money. I never said she stole my money. No, she may have stolen my bag. She may have stolen my book, but I didn't say money. I'm talking to you about mastering communication, that you learn emphasis, that you learn, some camaraderie. I don't know, some, what is the word? I don't know what else to say. That you learn how to speak with meaning. So I'm speaking to you now. These are not things that, and I just said to myself, you know what? I need to put something together for the everyday person, you know, who they're just going about their lives, but there's so many things that they need to know about being powerful, and I think that we underestimate the way that we speak. So it's not just in what you're saying, it's the way that you're saying it. And again, what it is that you want to communicate. Remember, I said that it's about what you really want to say, what you really want to emphasize on. Everything is not priority. everything is not important, that you choose what you want to throw light on in your conversation, right? That you throw light on what you want to say, what you want. So, for instance, you are vying for a role and they're asking you, why do you think you'd be great at this? Why, whatever, whatever. And you want to emphasize, when they ask you all of those things, you look at your goal immediately. You look at what they want to hear. So, what they are, there are multiple things in there. Somebody says, oh, you know, you're applying for this job. Why are you the best one? Why are you? And you have heard all of the things, you have looked at the job description or you have asked, and you know what it is that they are looking for. Then you know that what they want you to say is to sort of like highlight that you have those qualities. In that moment, that's what you should focus on. But to bring it home, you tell a story that shows that, okay, this is what you want. I understand what you want. Let me show you that I understand what you want to hear. Let me give you a story. And then you emphasize whatever it is that you want them to actually hear. You don't, in those moments, start going around in circles. Start, I've been in interviews, people, chai. I've been in interviews where I'm just, before you even, I've asked you a question, you first of all go, you are not selling yourself. You will first of all talk. The one that they didn't ask you, or you start with M. Instead of saying M, pause, swallow it. So, but I always teach in that when you are in those moments where your value is being demanded, how to show up in it is to show up powerful in it. First of all, don't be afraid to pause and to think through what it is that you want to say. You can actually say, give me a moment. That's what is being authentic, that you are comfortable in your skin, that you are not shaking and you're not afraid. Hey, what if? Remember, the what if this doesn't happen? Think about what if it happens. And so, because you're thinking about what if it happens, that you are playing your game to make sure it happens. And you're not looking on, hey, this and that. You're not panicking unnecessarily, that you rein yourself in because you can. You have the power, you have the ability. What is it? Do they have fire? Like, I don't know how Yoruba people say it. I'm going to translate it in English. Do they have fire on their heads? Someone not so really. Do they have fire on their heads? What is it? That you pause and you say, you know what? Give me a moment. And instead of saying you remember what is it, what do they want to hear? And how does it apply in my life? How can I show up in this? So even if it's an interview, whether it is that or even that you're selling a product, what does this person want to hear? That's why you hear things like pain points. So you're selling something for you say, oh, this is a remote. But why is my remote different? You know, first of all, what is unique about being you. Sell that, bring that out. Forget about what is. Somebody mentioned this, forget about what is shaking in that moment. What is unique? This particular remote, if you touch it, it slides. I know that there's so many, but I'm going to lead with my uniqueness. So that first of all, it gives me room to even I gain some audience because people yeah, we don't really want to hear. There's too many things on the internet. So you have to start with punchy, catchy. What can catch them immediately? Not story, story, story. This person says, I saw Elon Musk pause for what looked like an uncomfortable silence before he answered an interview, and that came across as possible, as powerful. He paused to these things, nobody, I promise you, they will wait. The only way is that if after you have paused, you now open your mouth and you say nonsense. We fight somebody. I will fight somebody. So that is me teaching you about mastering communication, right? And I'm saying that mastering communication is really about building connections. That you know that whatever it is, that you must be able to engage, and you'll be looking at whoever it is that you're speaking to. And again, when I'm saying speaking to, I'm assuming that you're talking in person. You should be able to know when somebody's uncomfortable. You should be able to know when you're talking too much. What honestly, I'm such I'm very cultural. So Yoruba people say wa mora, wa moju, that you will be able to sense, you'll be tactful, that you will know in moments when you should pause, that you should respect other people and regard them, and that when you are speaking, you're not speaking endlessly, right? That you pause and you watch the room and say, okay, should I go ahead? That you that you know those things. And then if it's that you are selling or you're projecting something, if you are online or whatever, that you listen out for what your audience is saying. If they are not saying anything, that means that they are saying something too. That means that you need to shift, you need to change, you need to try things, you need to keep trying, try this. If the answer is, oh, you like this one, play on it, or you like that one, do it more. So for instance, if for instance you are on, you will even notice this thing, that even the algorithms digitally, they favor the one that people like. So if people like something more than one other thing, even an Instagram will suggest to you, create more videos like this. It means that, see, you cannot be chasing or following what you want to do. It is that what is needed in the world, what is needed in the world, it's already in your hands, that you give what is needed and not just what you want to give. I don't want to give you, see, there are gifts that have meaning, and there are gifts that we just like, thank you, but we know that you gave it from a type of place. So it's the same thing when I'm talking about selling yourself, right? Mastering communication, building connections. You guys don't have questions? I like it. I like it. You don't have questions? I'm about, getting to what it is that I'm saying. The other thing, I think that, how many things have I said? I want to see in the comments. What are the points? What are the points? What are the points? What are the points, people? What are the points? Let me know that you're here. What are the points, guys? Identify your strengths. What's the second one? Growing confidence. What's the third one? Ah, you're not typing. Can you hear me? I think there's some lag somewhere. How do you position on LinkedIn? How do you position on LinkedIn? How do you position? It's not a matter of LinkedIn first. It is that, who are you? With everything that I've said, um, with everything that I've said, you know, you already need to know what is unique about being you, and that you um, focus on growing, on expanding, on finding your own unique voice, on speaking authentically. I'm sure that you've heard all of those authentically things, but let me bring it home for you. So I think that the final fantastic. I wish that somebody could write everything in one box. So if you write everything in one box, I could put it up and let everybody see what the points are. And the final point for tonight would be, well, not for tonight, but the final thing I'll be saying is present yourself powerfully. Present yourself powerfully. And this one, presenting yourself powerfully is, first of all, respecting yourself. There's so many of us that, and I see people do that a lot. We just are always asking for things, and we're never really giving. So you're always asking, you would become powerless. If you are always asking, you will become powerless, in the sense that that means that you think somewhere within you that your sufficiency is outside of you, that until people give to you, until somebody can help you, until they can do this for you, it can never really work. You cannot do anything for yourself. You cannot, it's very critical that we know that the highest form of leadership or of expression is actually service. What do I mean? That if you think about yourself and the way where you are in the world, and think about yourself as someone that has these abilities, these skills, and all of those things, but is supposed to serve their world with it, I think that it will change the perspectives that a lot of us have. The perspective that we have to what they call personal branding, what they call putting yourself out there. A lot of people are hesitant to put themselves out there. They're like, "Oh, I don't want people to see me." It's because you think that this is really about you. You're almost full of yourself. You don't know that that's what it is, but that's what it is. You always say that, I don't want to be in that pedestrian. Well, I used to be that. I promise. I used to be that. Why am I even teaching all these things? Well, but I realized that when I started teaching and I started opening up more and started giving and serving, I found that there's a kind of fulfillment that you can never really get except you serve other people with your gifts, with your abilities, with your talent, with your skills. So whether you are on a role or a job or a career, it is those extra things you do, the things that are unique about being you on a role, that sort of brings you fulfillment. Because when they're going to compliment you or give you that feedback, it's almost personal, is in you, it's something that is unique about being you. And those are the things that you have to grow, those are the things that you have to expand on, and those are the things that you have to almost show up as. So presenting yourself powerfully is what I would is how I teach authenticity. And in these things is that you have to be memorable, you have to leave a part of you everywhere you go. So if for instance you feel like, I can't talk here, I'm not really sure about how I'll be received, that again you know scan the room and see how you can serve. So if it's about how you can serve, then it can even be a comment, not always a question. It's in, but the comments cannot be in showing off, it has to be in service, because it's like an aura, is a smell, is a fragrance. We would know. Well, and then the expression will be, what's even wrong with this one? What's this one feeling like? This one is trying to show. That's not what I'm talking about. That it's in service. If you are unable to speak about something, but you have seen, and service can be complimenting something that somebody said, and say, when you said that, I thought about it and I thought this is quite interesting, and put your spin on it and say, this and this and that, from your perspective. But in that moment, it will come across like graciousness. And so at least you have left a part of you there. The more you give yourself in service, the bolder you become with communication. So if you just always think that, let me show up. So when I say show up, it's showing up in your value, in your gifting, in your skills, in your abilities. And if you don't feel confident enough in those moments to say or share those things, you can latch onto something and give it as a comment. And you can give it as a tip. You can give it so that is in service. And the more you do that, the more, so when I say present yourself powerfully, is to present yourself authentically. Somebody's asking a question and the person says, I have a question. How does one overcome communication issues that may have resulted from childhood grooming and trauma? In essence, how best can one grow enough in confidence? So first things first, you have identified that this is from childhood grooming and trauma. So you may want to deal with that, but you cannot sit within it. This is something that has happened. You have absolutely nothing to do with it. There's nothing you can change about it. But what exactly are the issues? That you are able to name them, identify what the issues are, and look at it and say, which one is really standing in my way? What is standing in my way? What should I fix? You will know. It is that we are not true to ourselves enough to sit with ourselves, introspect, and tell ourselves the truth. You see this thing, girl, you've got to fix it. This particular communication issue. So you will start from the beginning, right? Start and baby steps. Don't try and think that, oh, I will fix everything in a day. No. You will take the one that is like most pressing, the one that you see a lot in your life, the one that is almost like standing in your way, because that has come to your consciousness. The only reason it has come to your consciousness is because it's time. It's time for you to walk with it, war with it, and make room for yourself in your world. What do I mean? They always say that a problem shared is a problem half solved. It's the same way. When something has been revealed to you, is the first level of, should I say, wisdom. Right? The very first level. Once it has been revealed, you know that okay, is but give yourself the room, permit yourself to actually go into it and name it. What is it? When you say communication issues, it's too broad. What exactly? So you pick it and say, this particular thing, and you know why? It would have shown up in your life. If it didn't show up in your life, then it's not an issue. So if it showed up in your life, and in what manner? So you take it with you and say, it showed up like this. What could I have done differently? What result would I have wanted instead? How can I walk my way to this result? Who can help me if I can't help myself? What do I need to do? So it's breaking it down. It's not just looking at this, oh, communication issues, oh, childhood trauma, oh, a lot of people, they just say it is in this, it is in that. Okay, we have admitted it's in this and that, but what exactly is it? Break it down. And one by one, starting from the one that is standing the most in your way, because that's the one that you need to fix so that you can make room for yourself in your world. I hope that answered your question. I believe it did, actually. People are asking questions. I like that. I like that. Oh, okay. I'm looking at this as well. This is so powerful. Yeah, thank you. Thank you. I'm glad. I'm glad. I'm glad. I got you. I got you. There's another question here. On speaking authentically, how do I do that? I don't appear as if I'm an oversabi. I share and I go back to thinking. I hope I didn't just sound as if I know the best. So that's another thing. I hope that you started listening from the beginning. And what I was saying is that if you do it in service, in grace, and not in an oversabi manner, because the funny thing is that your body speaks to you. When I say body, your spirit, your inner voice, it tells you when to pause, when to stop. A lot of us have ignored our inner voices for so long that we don't recognize it when it's speaking. So what happens is how to go back to that place of speaking, of listening to your inner voice, is that when it speaks to you and says, this thing can sound to whatever, that within yourself you refine it there and say, okay, what's another way I can say it that I won't sound like this? You refine it, and guess what? Even if in that moment you don't say as much as you could have said, you do it for your inner voice so that your inner voice can trust you. I hope I'm not going wild on you. I hope you understand what I'm saying. All right. So it is that, when that inner voice speaks to you, it's like I always teach inner voice as like a child. If a child is always calling you auntie, 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 and they're calling, and you don't answer, you know what's going to happen? The child is going to stop calling you. They're going to look for the next best thing. Uncle, 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 uncle. Uncle doesn't answer. They go to the next person. They leave you. Such that you don't realize, what happened? But you used to talk to me before. You are not listening. So that you pay attention to your inner voice, and that when it taps you and says, this thing, because our voice, we have a voice of reason and we have a critic. I always say that, people say silence your inner critic. Yes, silence your inner critic when it's standing your way. But when your inner critic is in your line, for in your path or in your ear, speaking to you about authenticity or speaking to you about quality, better don't silence it. Listen to your inner critic. So I don't say, oh, silence your inner critic. Again, those things are lies. Silence your inner critic. That's how you just say, well, let's put it out like that, Jerry. Well, I'll take it to my boss, knowing that that's your boss. He's going to see one figure that figure and that thing can cost you your job. But you say silence your inner critic. Better listen to your inner critic and say, hey, fix it before we go ahead. Right? So again, when you want to share, think of it in service and not in showing off. So when you start thinking of it in service and you are able to, if it's really about service, then give them small now. If they want more, they will ask you. And it's okay if they don't ask you. But in that moment, is also when you do that, you are also learning. Your voice is, walking with you, and you are learning tact. You are learning precision. You are learning excellence. You are learning your own power. Because again, your word is your power. The more you give your word, the more powerful you become, or the less powerful you become. If you say, oh, they just know that this one is just going to talk. But if you don't just give your word anyhow, when it's time to speak, they will say, please, what does he want to say? It's the same thing. Yeah. I need to put this away. Somebody. I hope that helped you. This is so good. Yeah. Of course it's good. It's me. This is a question. Somebody says, I'm someone with a lot of talents and knowledge and ideas, but nothing to show for it. I'm not monetizing, nothing at all, and I know I can do more, but I need help. First of all, help yourself. The very first help you do for yourself is that It's not about monetizing. Everything is not monetizing. When you keep thinking monetizing, monetizing, remember I first of all said is in service. How have you served with this talents, knowledge? What have you served? And when I say service, sometimes service is on the job that you have. Service is in, you know, helping people with certain things, giving yourself, um, sharing your knowledge and all of that. You say nothing to show for it. There's something in there. Um, there's something in there that is largely your fault, largely. And I'm not going to, I don't suffer fools like this. So I'm not this person that's going to give you a pep talk and tell you, oh, don't worry about it, this and that. There's some things that you have not done for yourself. And one of those things is that you have not shared, you have not given, you have not opened your hands enough. What do I mean? Years ago, I'm going to tell you a story. Years ago, when um, so I would not hesitate to say that I grew up. I would say I grew up pretty much privileged in the sense that it's not like, oh, we were rich and all of these things. But I went. My parents. I'm the last born. So and there's a wide gap between me and my siblings. So my parents, they had time to give me things to share. I mean, I grew up. If people are talking about soft life now, I did not know it was me. I was born on that pedestal of softness. So I remember that everything was done for me. I didn't really have to do anything. I didn't have to, and I think that it was so I wasn't, I would say I was just living in my life and nothing was really happening, until maybe in about even in uni, I was still trying to learn myself, and I wasn't this person. I mean, a lot of people will be quite wondering, hey, you can talk like this. Yeah, I was quiet, I was reserved, I was, but I wasn't all over the place. I wasn't doing things. So I could have said that, and I knew I was quite brilliant. I was intelligent. I mean, I finished school with a third class. So I read insurance. It wasn't anything I wanted to study again or I wanted to share or give. I didn't want to work there. There was just nothing tangible. But I also knew that I was great with putting things together. Like I can cross T's, A, and dot I's. In my office, at my work, or whatever it is, I'm that person that if I look at something, everybody would have looked at that same thing, but it won't skip my eyes. I wouldn't, typos, all those things, you can't find it with me. So I just knew that I knew how to put things together. So I started asking questions. What can I do? Where can I go? What kind of job? At the time, they said to me, oh, okay, maybe you can do mass comm. So I went to one agency to see if I could work there. They told me, oh, of course you can work, but we don't pay. I said, oh, that's fine. I can do this. But they now said, oh, you have to start getting ads. I said, me, soft life ads. I'm gonna be looking for ad up and down. I cannot. So I found a job. It was a PR job. And I mean, how much they were paying wasn't fantastic, but I really wanted to learn and to grow and to serve. Like, I didn't know that that's what I was doing at the time, but I gave it everything. And there's no one from that time, even though maybe I was in that job for wasn't up to 2 years, maybe a year and a half. But if you mention me in that time, in that space, it's not possible that you won't know who I am. It's not. It's not possible. I showed up. I was showing consistently. I was giving things. I was there. When it's time to do the events, do whatever, I will make sure I will fight with people that don't do it properly. I'll say, what? I will whoa, I will box. And I didn't suffer fools likely. All those people, when they are even that time, I was even still a. If they bring one budget that is looking anyhow, I will cobalize everybody. I will say, no, it's not like this. I gave it everything. What am I saying? I'm saying this to tell you that, you see, the more we give ourselves in our lives, the more we give of ourselves in service, the more it grows in our hands. Such that when you talk about monetization, it almost starts chasing you. It's now you that will start thinking, hey, how will I do this thing? How will I do it? Okay, let me try. Maybe I should take a job. Maybe I should take this job. Maybe you'd have grown your skills and talents to an ability that it makes room for you. So if it's not making room for you, there's something that you need to do. You need help. First off, sit with yourself and look at it and say, what is in my hands? What have I done with it? How have I gifted? How have I served me? How many people know that I'm great at this? How many people will recommend me? How many places have I served? And they will say, ah, this person, Nadayo. Okay? So that's what I'm going to say here. Um, how do I ask a question to be answered here? You just type it now. Come on. Please, I have a question. These are the things. So these are the things. Again, so with so much refining to be done before speaking, isn't there a risk of completely watering down the conversation or losing the point as a whole? If you are focusing on the points, who says you should water it down? I don't quite get that. So refining before you speak. The point of refining is so that you can get the crux of the matter. A lot of times people are talking and they're talking off points. They're not. So for instance, just what I was teaching now, I've said, go straight to the heart of the matter. You can see people asking questions and somebody saying, please, how do I ask a question? Please, I have a question. That is not communicating. You're not communicating. Master communication is that you think. So let me tell you what I do, for instance. So for my youngest child is 10. He's gonna be 10. The older one's 18 and 16. I think that we have gotten to a level with that. But you see with him, and he's probably somewhere listening or eavesdropping. What with him, I say, Tommy, don't ask me a question you can answer yourself. He knows. And says, but mommy, I just want to know. I say, no, if you can answer it yourself, that means you know it. When you think about that question, answer it yourself. When you answer it, it teaches your brain to think on your feet. So the question has to be one that you don't understand or you cannot see it in plain sight. It doesn't really. So it is not that you are watering down what you're saying. It is that you're making sure that you're focusing on what is most important. You almost have to treat it like this is the only moment I have to say this thing. It better be good. There's some people that will slide into my DM. I will just say, hi, ma, me. I can never answer. You're not serious. You think I have the time? Do you know what I'm doing in my life? To now be the one prepping you, hi, ma, and I'll say hi back. You now say, good afternoon, ma. Me. I can't say hi, ma, back to you. If you have something to say, one time. So that's where we hear things like elevator pitches, because you almost have to look at it like my life depends on this. You have to see everything as an opportunity and seize it. So you have to think on your feet and not be wasting time. Let me tell you, this thing has happened to me. I went somewhere. This is not even like 15 years old. This is maybe like 5-6 years ago. I couldn't believe it. I went somewhere. There was somebody that I really wanted to speak to. And I had seen him. And I kept telling myself, okay, I will go. Okay, I will go. Okay, I will go. So I was trying to, sum up the courage. Before I knew what was happening, as I turned, I saw him walking. Do you know what I did? Guess what I did? You have to be able to guess. Guess what I did? I just saw him. He got up and he was walking out. And this is somebody that I really wanted to meet. And we were in one kind of gathering. I saw him there. I was just thinking, hey, what am I going to say? How will I say this thing? What do you think I did? I'm going to answer your question, Precious. I turned away. Somebody else, what do you think I did? You won't even believe what I did. Guess what? I got up and I ran towards him. Because I was like, yay! Yay! Like, oh my God, how can this happen? But my running wasn't, it was like brisk walking. And then when I got to him, I just tapped him on his arm at the back. I tapped his arm. So that's another thing. Those ones are dynamics for another day. That one is inside magnetism. It's not inside here. So I gently tapped his arm. So when I got to him, I comported myself. So remember what I was saying about presenting yourself powerfully. So even though I ran, like not running, but brisk walking, when I got to him, because I didn't want him to go and I didn't want to tap it, And I knew, what will I do? So I just touched his arm and he turned back. And I just said, good evening. You will not believe it. This is probably the most random thing because, just to catch his attention. That's not when I would just say, hi, sir. Sir. Sir, how are you, sir? Did you have a good day? Was this a nice event? Did you enjoy it? I mean, it's already at stake. But I've been thinking what to say. So once I got to him and I tapped his arm and I said, you will not believe this is Moraz. And I said to him, so this is what I mean by authenticity. And I said to him, I said, I sat there and I wanted to meet you and I wanted to say something. And I just kept refining and thinking about it in my head. And there you were leaving. I was like, oh my goodness, touch him first. Like, let's get it. So guess what? He started laughing. Because I mean, he was like, he started like, first off, when he saw me, I'm not anyhow. So not that you will be appearance, let's not even go there. That one is let's not even go there. Appearance is a different kettle of fish. So you see, another thing about, and when I teach dress, I teach dress. And when I teach dress, I always say that dress is a language that you have to say to yourself. You have to be intentional about. So what do you want them to say or to see where you are going? So when you preempt it, what do I want them to say or to see where I'm going? When I know what I want them to see was, hey, I will now speak it myself. So before I left home that day, I wanted to say classy, powerful. So I wore this black outfit, a. So I had already said to myself, what do I want people to see in this place? What language am I seeing? Language of dress. What do I want them to see when they see me? What do I want them to feel? What's the energy I want them to? It was classy. So, of course, when I touched his arm and I started saying that, he looked at me and thought, He paused. And the rest they say is history. So, I'm talking about presenting yourself powerfully. It's very important that you think about what it is that you want to say, focus on the heart of the matter, and stop dancing around. That you can always introduce it with a quick story. People like stories. Or you can always introduce it with something that is catchy but go straight into the matter. Straight. And stop dancing. So that in that moment, we know what it is that you want to say. You have presented yourself the most authentic way that you can, that you are real, that you are true. That if you feel like nervous, as you are saying whatever it is, you can say that, I can't even believe why I was nervous before coming here. Also that you don't put yourself down. So a lot of times when I'm teaching how to speak and how to communicate, a lot of people lead with, I'm sorry. Don't do that. Yeah, not you. Don't lead with, I'm sorry. Because first of all, you have already made yourself. So the first thing that you want to do, except of course, maybe you were teaching at something or that you just say, thank you. So first of all, start with grace. Thank you so much for still being here. I apologize for being, first of all, lead with that so that you still have some level of presence, some power. I can't teach you too much tonight. Like, I wish I could tell you everything, but there's so much I can say, but I can't take everything. I'm going to take somebody. Somebody was asking me, where is she? Precious. Oh, wow. Oh, my goodness. I can't find you. Yes, there it is. I'm going to find it. Said, I'm a recent graduate, sit at home to get your results posted, but I don't like your course, accounting. Okay. You haven't asked me any question. Okay, great. Thank you for letting me know that you don't like your course. You have not asked any question. So again, Precious, what I'm going to tell you to do today is to learn how to present yourself, focus on the heart of the matter. And the question you will always have in your head is, what do I really want? And when you think about what do I really want, make sure that as you are communicating, you're communicating what you really want. Because as you have written this here, I'm not going to answer this because there's no question. It just says, I'm a recent graduate. I'm sitting at home to get my results. You don't like your course. That's great. Thank you so much for letting me know, but you have not asked a question. So unfortunately, I won't be able to say anything to that. But what I'm going to leave you with is that you go away and you think about every time that you're asked or every time that you want to, request or every time that you feel like you need to show. Because as you are like this and being, I'm a recruiter, I'm a communications expert, I can see that you you don't even know how to present anything first off. So you have to go back to yourself and ask yourself, what do I really want? What do I really want to say? And when you have thought about what you want to say, then you say to yourself, this thing, does it communicate what I really want to say? If it doesn't, refine it. That the more it might take you time, but that you keep doing it, that you keep doing it. Otherwise, opportunities are just going to be passing you by and you're wondering, what did I do wrong? That's what you did wrong. Learn to present yourself, right? Immediately. That's exactly what I'm saying. So, Precious, I'm looking at your comments and you are not really asking any question. So, unfortunately, I mean, you want to master your this, you want to this, you need that, you need this, but it's fine. You have thought of this, you have thought of that. So, like I've said, unfortunately, this video is not the replays are not going to be available. Um, but I wish that you were taking points. First of all, if you follow these points, you'll be able to find your way. Identify your strengths. I give you an exercise, the three things about you. You need to be able to know what those things are. That you learn to grow in confidence. Why should you do this? Why should you do that? That you learn to give, to serve, to find something in your interest, something that you are interested in. If it doesn't pay you the exact amount you think that you deserve, that you at least give yourself in service to it. Whatever you find your hand finds doing, that you do it with all of your heart and with all of your might, that you grow in confidence, you grow in skill, you grow in ability, and that you gain, you gain speed, like you gain some power, some confidence, some energy, some levels to go to the next, and that you just don't wallow and say, I want this, I want that, and that you sit on your ass doing nothing. That you put by yourself, that you grow, identify what your strengths are, determine these are the three things. Go through everything that I've taught you tonight and sit with yourself. And there's you have so much work to do. I can see that there's so much work to do, so much work to do here. And you have to start from somewhere. You have to start from somewhere. Um, do you guys have exactly? I'm looking at your comments. Do you guys have any other questions? Because the last thing I've said is presenting yourself powerfully. So let's put out everything. I'm going to be sharing something with you quickly. But if you have any questions, put your comments in there. Put your comments in there. If you have any questions, I'm going to be sharing something with you in a in a few minutes. Okay. Um, Before, let me look at Idogesit. She says, I love what you said about service. I've considered myself an enabler and an excellent program executor. I've been serving people around me with these gifts for years now. Thank you. Well done. You know what is going to happen, Idong, is that, you know, because you have been serving with these gifts, you would have grown in competence. You would have grown in some levels of competence and you'll be able to teach it. So for somebody that was saying something like, oh, I have so many things, I have nothing to show for it, that you'll be able to teach it and you'll be able to teach it to the people that need it the most. So first off, that you start gathering what the feedback is on these things. That you start gathering the feedback. Okay, when I do these things, what resonates the most with you? How does it, what do I do that really helps you to do this and to do that and all of that? And you start putting it together. And then you start looking at it and saying, who is this for? In what other capacities can I serve? And then you now realize that, okay, you know what? I can actually pitch this to some kind of company. I can pitch this. I can do this job. That's how these things work. That's how these things work. So you can start looking at organizations that that want your kind of skills, because you have grown, you have expanded, that you can start putting yourself out there, telling people, oh, I'm looking for this and that, I'm doing this for this and that, and you can start small things. You can collaborate. There's so much that you can do, but it first of all starts from you growing, expanding, perfecting your own skills, and believing your own hype, believing that you're worth it, and that you already have all of these amazing, amazing things that you can serve the world with. Yeah, I'm going to put this here. You're welcome. Yes, it's a shift, I know. Identify your strengths, grow in confidence, master communication, present yourself powerfully. See, if you start with just this, I promise. I want to hear, oh, I mean, just this, you wouldn't believe, how far you go. I'm going to put up your comments because this is very important for us to see. I'm grateful that you see this as well. Yes, I'm grateful that, so whatever it is that you have learned, please start putting it here. Don't forget to share on social. Tag me at Identity Coach on Instagram. Put all of the things that you learned. I always like hearing what exactly it is that they spoke to you, because it's feedback for me and it helps me to grow and to expand as well. That is, your gift to me. So I have gifted you tonight. Your gift to me is to share, to share, to share, to share. Use it on your stories, put it everywhere, let people know about it and all of that. Somebody's asking a question. Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. Somebody asked a question. Is it a question? How can you confidently bring out ideas in a work environment and be articulate without going blank, even when you know what to do? So, this is anxiety. This is pure anxiety. So, and a lot of us are anxious because we're afraid of something, or we're anticipating something. So, this is how I work with this. And I say that, what are you afraid of? That's the question I would ask you in this situation. What are you afraid of? Because you say that even when you know what to do, you go blank. There's something that you're afraid of. So you have to first of all articulate what it is that you're afraid of. Is it that maybe they will think you're stupid? Is it that your boss will whatever? Is it that you don't want to be rejected? Is it that you have to find what those things are. Guess what? Those things are as a function of something that's happened to you that has acted like an anchor somewhere in your mind. So your mind keeps going back to that place of when you felt shame, when you felt disrespected, when you felt undervalued, when you felt, you know, ridiculed. There's so many, those things is not just that you can't speak confidently, it's that you are seizing. It's an anxiety that is causing you to not operate at your highest. So you have to go to the root of those things. And first of all, tell yourself, where's your name? I don't know how to pronounce your name. I was going to call you. I apologize. Minta? Is that it, Minta? So just say to yourself, Minta, what are you afraid of? What are we afraid of in this situation, first off? And this is something that I want for you to do even when you get out of here, in preparation for the next time. So when you have looked at what are you afraid of, the next thing that I always say is, what's the worst that could happen? What's the worst that could happen? So when you have been able to see it to the end, you see, it's the things that we are almost unknown that we fear. We fear the unknown. We imagine in our heads, we overthink and we create pictures that have not even happened and may never even happen. That's how anxiety works. It may never even happen. So what you do is to go to the end of it. You go to the end of it and you permutate and say, if this happens, then what will happen? If that happens, what's that happen? Then you lose the fear. Once you have lost the fear, and the fear has, left a hold on you, then you can articulate yourself and give it a try. I promise you. I mean, you need to come back to me. I'm actually really interested in how this goes. All right? I'm actually interested in how this goes. Example of communication really stuck with you. I'm happy. I see all that you have learned here. Yes, very powerful, but please show, tell online where people can see it, where I can see it, not just in this little corner where we are, right? Somebody's saying something. The session is always timely anchor for you to go back to yourself. Fantastic. So I want to share something quickly with you tonight. And I want to share this, you know. Can you guys hear me? Could you hear me? So I'm gonna keep my face on it just in case. I want to be able to see me as well, just like in case you're wondering where is it. So this is for you if you just want to really be more confident in your world. Like, I need to be more confident in my life. It's not like I don't know what to do, but I'm always just hesitating. There's always just something in my way. There's always just so this power of you is specifically for you. What is it? It will help you to break through barriers. It will help you to overcome doubts. It will help you to overcome all of those things. Help you to boost your confidence. Help you to become more self-assured. Help you to understand what is unique about being you. Help you to show up in your highest at times. Help you to be more influential in the way that you connect. And it's if you struggle with making impressions, networking, you feel like, okay, um, I always hesitate. I'm an introvert. I don't like to put myself out there. I don't even, I have social anxiety. I don't know how to present my skills or my talents. I have too many talents and skills. I don't know which one to put first. So it's just that you show up in your uniqueness. That's what the power of you will do. So these are the major topics: discovering your strengths and yourself, unshakable confidence, strategic networking, magnetic communication, the language of dress. I'll show you something in there. Presence, how to hold attention, how to be memorable. I'll show you something in there. So what is it? It has nothing, you do it at your own pace. It's just videos, right? So there are videos, on demand videos you can watch and rewatch. You have access to them over 3 months. There are like 8 different videos, 4 downloadable resources, and then I have a, should I say, wild card that you will see when you are in it once you sign up for it. So it's not like you're going to be seeing, like I'm going to be talking to you every day and all that, but I will be talking to you through this video. So it's very easy to do. They're like 20-minute videos. I think that 20 minutes each or 10 minutes each, just I think about 8 different videos, 4 downloadable templates that will ask you still all of the questions I was asking you tonight. You can ask yourself those questions. You can write it. You can work with it. You can watch it again. You can practice it. There's so many things just to help you to be able to show up. Just to help you to be able to show up. How much do you think this is? How much do you think this is? Oh my God, why be this is this? What is this? Oh my God. How much do you think this is? So I've put together decades of experience, put together all sorts of things, just for you. And this is how much it is. This is how much it is. But for tonight, I'm going to give it to you at this. So it's 25,000 naira just for 24 hours. It's not out there yet. I'm going to put it out on Monday. So I'm just doing this for people that are in my, because I know that you play in my space, all right? You listen to me, you want to learn more, you want to know more. So just for 24 hours, that means that between now and tomorrow, it's going to be 25K, but it's going to go back to the normal price. By Monday, you won't see it on this price. Actually, by Sunday, but I'm launching it. I'm putting it out on Monday. I put it out before, like I did a tester for it. I got some people signed on to it, and they have something coming. Some people signed up to it earlier. I'm going to give them a special gift for just signing up randomly. I just put it out. I didn't really, just to test. And so I'm going to use them as, I'm going to give them a gift. I don't know if any of you is here tonight, but I'll be talking to you guys, the ones that had signed up and had done they've done the course and I've worked through it before. So just for 24 hours, it's 25,000 naira only, but it's going back to the main price by Sunday. So which is fine. And I'm sharing it with you first here. You wouldn't have seen it anywhere online or anywhere in my stuff. So it's going to go online from about, I think, Sunday or Monday. So this is my special gift to you, the power of you, authenticity. Now, where do you find it? You are going to find it here. And I'm also going to put the link in the comments. I'm also going to put the link in the comments. It's If anybody can, give me a second. So somebody's asking a question. I'm going to answer your questions. I'll keep asking your questions or answering the questions. Give me a second. I'm going to type this. Somebody says you have a question. You're confident in your self, but you have a problem of implementing actions, plans, and ideas. What do you do? You know, the funny thing is that you think that you're confident, but you have a problem of implementing. It is that you need to become more accountable. You just need to become more. You know, the funny thing is that is there a module that it's in the power of you? There's some module that talks about. Let me see. Give me a second. So there's something about um strategic networking. There's something about how to communicate with staff. There's something about how to hold attention and be memorable. There's something about how to discover your strengths and yourself. Then there's unshakable confidence. So the confidence that we think we have in implementing ideas is that we're actually not even confident in those ideas. So it is about baby steps. Giving yourself a plan. A lot of people don't know how to plan. So how do you break it down into an actual actionable plan? So I've said I want to do this and I want to do that, but what do I need to do? How can I break it down? So this is supposed to happen in January. What do I need? I will need to call this person. I will need to buy this. I will need to do this. That you first of all identify those steps. Like you have to break it down into an actionable plan. It's not enough to come up with an idea or to come up with, all of these things. Is that you break it down in a way that it can work. So what do you need to do now? That's the first thing. Okay, I have this plan, I have this idea. What do I need to do now? Sometimes when you check what you need to do now, you realize that you cannot do it now. So you now improvise. So what can I do now? Right? What can I do now? Like, it's not just, let me just write these things. I mean, you can have ideas, you can have goals, but again, who is this useful for? If you cannot find it in people, if people cannot find value in it, why are we doing it? Why are we doing it? What are you selling? If you are in a blind man's, and then you're selling 3D glasses, like I don't understand. What should we be selling? Better be looking for radio, be selling radio or something. That's what I'm saying, that you have to also be aware of what it is that you have in your hands. How useful it is it, and how do you translate it from what is in your hands to what people actually can find useful? Yeah. Somebody said no. So 25K for tonight. So this is the part. Do I need to give me a second. I want to actually, so if you have any more questions, and I'm going to say one more thing. You have a question? Any more questions before I say the final thing I'm going to say? Yeah. Yeah, thank you for that. So, how to sell yourself? Um, the power of you. There is nothing more powerful than knowing that everything you need, and I say this and I actually mean it, everything you need, you already have it. I'm not talking you happy. Everything you need, you already have it. What does that mean? It means that you have the seed of everything you need. So everything you need to show up, all that is, it means value. It means that it's in your value. And you heard people say things like, you are the value, show up as the value. And sometimes you are trying to, especially for someone like me, I mean, I've heard so many things, when people say, just show up in your value. Sometimes it can sound ambiguous, like, what is my value? So I'm going back to the first thing, is that identify your strengths. And I'm going back to the first three things that I said about you. That first three questions that I asked you. I said, you know what? What are the skills? What am I most proud of about myself? and that you sit with those things and that you expand on them and that you ask people, that you seek feedback and that you begin to grow those things. So if it's even something as simple as I just know how to connect with people, that you start looking at it and saying, in my life, how am I really using this ability or this skill? Where is it useful? Where am I leaving it on the table? So at work, how am I actually connecting people? What am I doing? With my relationships, how am I actually connecting? Am I introducing people to people? Am I saying, do you know this or that? Am I saying that, what are you even, hey, are you looking for a job? Do you need this and that? Are you connecting? You know why? Because there's that seed of opportunity in your unique gifting, skills, and abilities. Let me give you an example, and this is the final example I'm going to give, even as I round up, right? Let me just, what's on my screen? What's on my screen? Let me be sure. Let me answer this question. So, Augustina, I'm not sure that you heard what I said. When you said the uncertainty that I may not have what it takes. How about I have what it takes? If you listen to everything that I've said, a lot of things are in your mind. Are you telling yourself you can't, I can't do this? So again, I'm going back to the last thing, and this is the last question I'm going to take. Fear of going to something about the amount of work and the uncertainty, you don't have what it takes. So it is that you break it down. First of all, this thing, you look at it, you break it down. What does that work look like? What is at stake? That's the question. What is at stake? If I do it, what will happen? If I don't do it, what will happen? And then you make your decision. At the end of the day, a lot of us think that we need help, we need help, we need help. But you see, if we don't make that move, if we don't apply ourselves, we will keep seeking help. And even when help comes, we will not recognize it because we are unable to apply ourselves generally. So the question again, I'm not going to say, oh, you know, don't be, no, if you like. I mean, you just have to decide, break down the work and say, what is this work? What part of it can I do by myself? What part of it do I need help with? What am I able to do right now? Who can assist me or help me with this? But what am I able to do right now is always first. Then what is at stake? Do I need to give myself to this or not? So you will decide. You will decide. You know, we have the power of choice. That's one of the most brilliant things about humans. We have the to do it based off of what is at stake for you. Your decision. Your decision. So guys, just type in yetunebernard.com/the dash power dash of dash you. So is the power of you. Just remember that there are dashes in between it. It will be on everything since you signed up and all of these things. Check your emails. You see the link in your email as well. I'm trying to type it, but I'm not able to. If somebody can type it for me, that would be great. So you can type it in there and leave it in the comments. I probably will also type it and leave it in the comments. But I mean, the replay will be available maybe for just like an hour or two. So if you can quickly watch it over, and I'm going to put it out because there's something that, you know, obviously I don't want to leave it out there. This is quite um, special to me. You are special to me for tonight. So that's why I'm sharing all of this. I was trying to share a story, but I think I've lost track of what it was I was saying. If anybody remembers, please remind me. If not, somebody is saying this. What advice would you give to a recent graduate who wants to make the best of this service here by seeking to work with organizations and employers to hone is this? He has already, see, a lot of things that we ask, we don't really need answers to. This person has already said that you want to work with this to hone your skills. What should I say? Don't do it? What do you expect me to say? You know, a lot of times we seek validation where it's not necessary. So this person has already identified, I want to do this because I want to do that because of this. So we are still asking somebody, what do you think? Very unnecessary. So in our lives, maybe I'll just close with that. In our lives, you know, there's so many things that we don't need to ask for permission for. You know that because what's the worst, you know, is it good for you? If it's good for you, I think a lot of times we overthink opportunities. It's an opportunity that has come to you. Is it good for you? So if it's good for you, why am I still asking somebody, what do you think? And then somebody will discourage you and then you lose an opportunity. There's so many things that you don't need to bounce off. So many things that you don't need to bounce off. So yeah, I remember what I was saying, and I was saying that whatever you need, you already have it, right? And I'm going to let me leave this banner here. I'm going to close with this, and I teach it everywhere. Um, I'm going to write it for you. And so I want you to be able to imbibe this, and you tell yourself this day in, day out, that you tell yourself that all I need to be, I already am. That you pause and you think about that. It means that every gift has been given, every ability, skill has been given, in the sense that the seed of it has been given. It's your responsibility to grow it, to expand it, to use it, to work with it, to gift it, to serve in it, so that it grows and it expands and it makes room for you in your world. So I'd like for us to, say to ourselves, whether you're shutting your eyes, whether you're saying it out loud, and just think about it and say to yourself, all I need to be, I already am. And that you say it to yourself daily, if you can, in and out. And that those days when you are afraid and you are hesitant, that you say that all I need to be, I already am. So I'm just going to take the next step, and I'm just going to do what I need to do, because all I need to be, I already am. Thank you, everyone, for being here tonight. Thank you for being here tonight. I hope that you found this useful, and I hope that you will take it with you. And I hope that you would take this course and you would take it, and stop, there's so many things I can teach you. There's so many things I can show you. There's so many things I can tell you. But I can't teach you 80 hours. I can't teach you 80 minutes. I can't show you so much. Again, these are my own gifts and my own skills and my own abilities, and I will not just give it. There must be a price that you have to pay. And so you have to do what you have to do. If it's useful to you, if it's meaningful to you, go out of your way. This is 24 hours. And after 24 hours, it goes back to the original price. And, this is my gift to you. Thank you, everyone, for being here tonight. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you, people. The power of you. YetundeBernard.com/the-power-of-you. Let me put it in the comment myself. Yetunde-Bernard. Before we go, .com/the-power-of-you. Perfect. I am so glad. Thank you, everyone. God bless you. God bless you. God bless you. God bless you. Don't forget, please share your comments, your thoughts with me online. Good night.